وصاحبته وأخيه وفصيلته التي تأويه ومن في الأرض جميعا ثم ينجيه كلا إنها لظى نزاعة للشوى تدعو من أدبر وتولى وجمع فأوعى إن الإنسان خلق هلوعا إذا مسه الشر جزوعا وإذا مسه الخير منوعا إلا المصلين الذين هم على صلاتهم دائمون والذين في أموالهم حق معلوم للسائل والمحروم والذين يصدقون بيوم الدين والذين هم من عذاب ربهم مشفقون إن عذاب ربهم غير مأمون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون والذين هم بشهاداتهم قائمون والذين هم على صلاتهم يحافظون أولئك في جنات مكرمون فما للذين كفروا قبلك مهطعين عن اليمين وعن الشمال عزين أيطمع كل امرئ منهم أن يدخل جنة نعيم كلا إنا خلقناهم مما يعلمون فلا أقسم برب المشارق والمغارب إنا لقادرون على أن نبدل خيرا منهم وما نحن بمسبوقين فذرهم يخوضوا ويلعبوا حتى يلاقوا يومهم الذي يوعدون يوم يخرجون من الأجداث سراعا كأنهم إلى نصب يوفضون صلوا على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد أبي القاسم محمد صلى على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه ومتقن خطابه: فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر، وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين، فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له، وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. أوصيكم عباد الله ونفسي بتقوى الله ونظم أمركم. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us opportunity to have, insha'Allah Rahman, this Ramadan meaningful fasting, insha'Allah. The fasting which will be profound and would give the real effect on our lives, insha'Allah ar-Rahman. Today, insha'Allah ar-Rahman, I'm going to talk a little bit about cases of fasting according to jurisprudence. If you remember last time, maybe I talked about this previously in some other speeches, that about the time of refraining from eating and drinking, about the Fajr time. As you see, there is no general agreement about the time of Fajr. And so that's why it is good to be cautious when you actually do imsak and when you do the prayer for the Fajr. You know, I see that most of people, they are relying on the apps, but the apps, brothers and sisters, would not be like the Jibreel, that everything actually you see in the apps would be correct. And also, according to jurisprudence, you cannot rely on the apps. you have to be certain about the time of Fajr, and especially when you want to actually do imsak. So I would say, as a precaution, that you do imsak 1 hour and a half before the sunrise. Okay, this is the actually because it's okay. At any time you can do imsak, but if you want to be the safe side, so it would be 1 hour and a half before the sunrise. But for the salat, according to some of the maraja, you cannot do 1 hour and a half before the sunrise, the prayer. At least it should be 1 hour before the sunrise. So it would be the difference about half an hour or 30 minutes between the imsak and offering the prayer. Why? Because there is no certainty about the time of Fajr. Because when you go to the, when you go through the apps, you see that they have different times. But if you go with the scientific, Fajr, the scientific Fajr is, I don't know if you know this or no, you just can put the downtime in your town, and it is about 30 minutes before the sunrise. So you see that there is controversy about the time of the Fajr. So in order to be on the safe side, you actually do the inshallah imsak 1 hour and a half before the sunrise, and do the salat 1 hour before the sunrise, inshallah rahman. For the for breaking the fast is the same thing. I mean, usually in the Shia school, they are for the salat, usually they do the salat about 20 minutes after the sunset, and sometimes because of very long azan, it would be about 25 minutes after the sunset we do the salat. But as I said this many times, according to jurisprudence, according to the current maraja, between 10 and 12 minutes or 15 minutes after the sunset, it would be the time for Salatul Maghrib. If you prolong more than this is it means that you are acting upon your ijtihad, and you are not actually acting upon taqdeed. If you are muqallid, and if you are following one marja, this is what the marja says. But if you are not feeling good, you want to do it more because you want to be precautious, then in this mas'ala, you are muhtat, you are not muqallid anymore. So this is for salat. But what about the fasting? Breaking the fast. For the breaking the fast, if you see the scientific night is compatible with the scientific down. So it's only about 30 minutes. It means that 30 minutes, before the sunrise is the down, and 30 minutes after the sunset is the night. So that's, you see that this is very clear cut, defining for the night and Fajr. But as you see that, most of the Muslimin, they are breaking the fast with the sunset. And the Shia school people, they are breaking the fast, about 20 minutes. But I think that, mashallah, you are fasting for 18 hours, 17 hours. It is, there is no problem to wait another 10 minutes and break the fast. Especially, it is recommended that you perform, your salat before breaking the fast. There is a hadith, I maybe said this hadith many times, that when someone asked Imam al-Baqir, salawatullahi alayhi, that if actually the times for the salat comes, should I actually do the breaking fast or doing the salat? He said, Imam said that, that you are offering salat al-subuh and you are fasting. You are offering salat al-zuhr and you are fasting. You are offering salat al-asr, you are fasting. And do it the same. Do your salat al-maghrib, you are fasting. And do your salat al-isha, you are fasting. It means that all of your prayers would be offered while you are fasting. So it is better to actually first do your salat, then you do your actually breaking the fast. Unless, no, there is exception according to some of the, maraja, like the late Ayatollah Khuy, rahmatullahi alayhi. It says that, if you see the aroma of food from the kitchen is so profound that this will not help you to have, huzur al-qalb in salat, or to have the state of salam wa barakatuh, mindfulness when you are doing salat, then it is better to actually to break your fast, first. Or if you have guests and they cannot wait, that long, so it is better, Islam is the religion of, Islam is social religion too, and it's better to go and break the fast with your actually guests. So it means that if you offer your salat first and then you break the fast, it means that it will actually be about 30 minutes after the sunset. Okay, so inshallah rahman, this is I'm adopting this way for many years, and even my children actually I convinced them that this is the way we have to do in order to be inshallah rahman on the safe side. And today also I would like to talk about this verse of Quran which I recited to you, that that sometimes you don't fast because you have excuse. For example, if you are sick, then the fasting, if the sickness is actually so grief that fasting would prolong the duration of your actually cure, or it will aggravate your sickness, then the fasting is haram. This is what the Quran says. وَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. About the traveling, as you know, I have a reservation about what would be considered traveling. But about the sickness, is very clear that if the sickness would not be compatible with the fasting, then you have to give priority to the sickness, not to the fasting. And if you fast, some people, they say, no, even though I'm, sick, I would like to fast. I don't like to break the fast during the months of Ramadan. So he would like to be a super mu'min, so he doesn't want to break the fast. Then in this situation, he should know that this fasting is haram, and this fasting would not be accepted, and you have to do the qaza after the months of Ramadan. Even though you did the fast, this fasting would not be accepted, and this will not make you free from the qaza after the months of Ramadan. And but mashallah, some people also are so lax, little bit actually headache would be excuse for them for breaking the fast. And this is not right too. Don't be on the state of, as we call it, temperance or moderation. Don't go to the extremes. And don't be Muslims more than Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And don't be among of those who are actually trying to run away from the fasting by lame excuses, actually to run away from the fasting. So the verse which I also recited, is talking about, the people who can fast, but they would get exhausted by fasting. It means that they have to provide all of their powers to do the fasting. For the young people, you can fast, you are losing some of your powers. But for some people, certain people, fasting would make them exhausted, like the elderly people. According to the Quran, if someone is old and his fasting will take his entire power, then there is no need for fasting for him. And some of the Mirajas, they actually define this age is about 70 years old. So if someone reaches the age of 70, if he wants to fast, it's okay. But he has the option of fasting or not to fast and pay for everyday fidya. Fidya means that you have to pay for the food of one person every day you are not fasting. So this is what the Quran says. وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ. يُطِيقُونَهُ means that, they can actually bear the fasting. But it is coming from the word of taqat. Taqa in Arabic means that, you still can do it, but you have to give all of your taqat in order to do the fasting. وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ وَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ. If you want to pay more, I said to people that, you have to pay every day, certain amount of money. How much is, Maulana? This is, I said, $10. It's too much, $10. I say, if you want to go and buy, your food every day, nowadays with the inflation, how much you have to spend? And when it comes for the poor people, he says, I can, buy the bread as a ta'am, 3 loaves of the bread, would make him, inshallah rahman, full. But are you going to do the same for yourself? That are you going to eat the only, rice and or bread, or you want to have varieties of the food, for lunch or for dinner? So what's the Quran saying? وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. That when you do infaq, do infaq as you are doing infaq on yourself. So this is what the Quran says, that if you pay more, this is khair. When I say, that actually for every day is $10, say, okay, I want to act upon the Quran, I give $20. This is what the Quran says. But the Quran says if you can fast, then, fasting would be better. But this is also, you see that how practical is Islam. It is not rigid that, you have to fast, even though it would be very difficult on you. Because this is what the Quran says, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. And so, this is actually the one situation that, the elderly people, they can pay the ransom or fidya, or actually I don't want to call it kafara, expiation, because here is only because you have option, because kafara would be most appropriate when you are doing something, by intention and it is wrong. So you have to pay the kafara for this. But here, you just, pay the fidya. Okay, so this is one situation. The second situation, which you also, can pay fidya, and you don't need to do the qadha or making up the days you didn't fast, that if you get sick, actually, in the months of Ramadan, for example, and your sickness would last to the next Ramadan. Okay? In this situation, you don't have to do qaza. And you can just pay the fidya for every day you did not fast because of your sickness. Then in this situation, you are just giving the fidya, as actually we see in the jurisprudence. But some people, when you not fasting because you have excuse, for example, when you are traveling, you don't fast some days, and then you have to, make it up before the next Ramadan. Okay. But if you don't make it up before the next Ramadan, and now you are fasting for the next Ramadan, now it is not enough that you just do qaza for the days you didn't do it in the previous Ramadan. You have to add kafara to actually this every day you did not fast. So you do actually what we call it the qadha plus the kafara you have to pay. So you have to be careful that you are doing the qadha, inshallah rahman, before the advent of the next Ramadan. If you have anything that you have to do as qaza, you have to do it, inshallah rahman. Because you see that sometimes, it is only doing the qaza, and sometimes you have to add the kafara to the qadha, and sometimes this would be very extreme kafara. Extreme kafara is that if someone, God forbidden, intentionally, without reason, breaks the fast, then he has to do the major kafara. It's not the little kafara anymore. Major kafara means that you have to feed 60 people, poor people, or you have to fast for 60 days. I think that, at that time, maybe people were choosing to fast 60 days because the financial situation of people was so low. But now, people, they don't like to actually fast 60 days, especially that it says that you have to fast consecutively 30 days in 1 month plus 1 day from the next month. Then you can separate, the days of the next month. So you have to fast first 31 days. And for example, if you fast only for 25 days, then you don't continue to 31, then you have to resume from the beginning. So, that's why people, they don't like this option. They like the option which says, okay, you have to pay, for 60 people, and it would be about $600. Okay, so 1 day you don't fast, the ticket would be $600 for not actually fasting. And the situation which would be also with this kafara is that if you have, for example, it is not only, eating and drinking during the daytime of Ramadan. No, for example, if you have to do ghusl of janabat, and you say, oh, I don't actually, feel that I have to go to the, to take the shower or to do the ghusl, then you are actually, during the Fajr, you are still in state of janabat. This is the kafara also here would be applicable. It means that it is not only just do the qaza. No, you have to pay the major kafara. The major kafara is about 60 days of fasting or paying food to actually 60 people. And also there are some people that they cannot fast because they have the type of what we call it in jurisprudence, mu'attash. Someone, his thirst would not be quenched. I don't know if this is the right medical word is called. It is actually polydipsia. Polydipsia means that, you are drinking water, but you are not feeling quenched, okay? So, unfortunately, some people, they have this disease, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give shifa to them, but this is a very difficult situation. So, for these people, actually, they can drink the water, but they have to pay fidya for every day. Okay. But what about the hunger? Inshallah, one day I'm going to talk about unfortunately, we are not feeling the true hunger nowadays, even in the months of Ramadan. What we feel is what is called fake or psychological hunger. And, but this is what meant for the fasting, that to reach the true hunger. So, but what some people say, I feel hungry, that can I break my fast because I'm hungry? I say, no, this is are you hungry for what? For real food or for the chips? And this is the fake hunger that, so the issue is that if your hunger is so dangerous that, that your hunger is what they call it, you're ravenous, that if you don't eat food, then this would have effect on your health, then you can break your fast. Yes. Why? Because as we said, you cannot have the sickness and the fasting together. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر. You don't want, because of fasting, you get sick. So if you think that you are so hungry that this will make you sick, then you can break your fast. Okay, so this is actually the ruling. But as I said, you are the judge of yourself. You have to know if you can fast or no. Sometimes, the doctor says to you, you cannot fast, but you feel you are actually strong, you can fast, then I would say to go with the view of doctor. But most of ulama, they say no, if you feel that you can, then you fast. But if the doctor says to you, no, you can fast, and the fasting will not actually aggravate your sickness, and the fasting would not be detrimental to your health, but you still have fear that maybe fasting would actually be harmful to your health, still you can go with your own judgment. You don't need to go with the judgment of the doctor, even though the doctor says it is okay, you can fast. But if you are panicked that maybe the fasting would be detrimental to your health, then you can break your fast. So, as I said, inshallah rahman, I'm going to explain some of this controversial masail about the fasting, but we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to know the essence of the fasting. This is only the form of fasting. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. But inshallah rahman, we have to inshallah reach what we call it the spirit of fasting. And the spirit of fasting would be inshallah reached only through the taqwa. As the Quran says that if you fast, then you may get the taqwa or self-restraint. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to be among as-sa'imun, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين. الصلاة والسلام على أئمة المسلمين سيما أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله عليه. وصل وسلم على سيدتنا سيدة نساء العالمين فاطمة صلوات الله عليها. وصل وسلم على سبطي الرحمة الحسن والحسين وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحجة القائم المنتظر. اللهم اجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه والمدافعين تحت لوائه. أوصيكم عباد الله ونفسي بتقوى الله ونظم أمركم. As I said in the first khutbah, we have two aspects for the fasting during the months of Ramadan. And one is the form of the fasting, and the second is the essence of the fasting. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran prescribes for us how we can make our souls, how we can produce virtues in our souls. One of the ways for virtue producing is the fasting. Why? Because the fasting will help us first to reach the state of patience. Is that right? Patience. That's why they say this verse of Quran which says وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Says sabr here is the fasting. استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة. That you can get help from the fasting from the salat. Salat means that sometimes when you are encountering difficulties in the life, if you offer prayer, you feel that you are calm and you are more capable to encounter the adversities. It was said that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever he was in a problem, he was offering the prayer. And It is also said that if you are feeling angry, just offer two, rak'at of salat. This will help you to calm down. So this is very important that, the fasting will help us to make our souls. We get what we call it, the virtue of patience. You see that you have in your mind that you have to wait for 16 hours, 17 hours, that, not to eat or not to drink. And sometimes you have the craving to eat or to drink. Then, you said you have to wait. Because patience, the one element of the patience is waiting, but not passive waiting, the active waiting, that you are waiting till the time. But even you see that this patience would be a challenge in the late hours of the day. I remember when I was in some Islamic countries, and they were eating first before Salat. So, in the masjid, the people were bringing food for the people coming for the Salat and for the iftar. So, mashallah, the tables were packed with the food, and people were looking at this food, about 30 minutes before the azan. And they didn't actually like to talk to each other too. They were just fixing their eyes on the food. And when was saying, Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah, there was actually the big attack on the table. And then, they finished about 10 minutes, then they were going towards the musalla to offer the prayer. So this is the patience, the waiting, that, the fasting will help us to actually exercise our, patience, that also to challenge our limits of patience, to promote the quality of our patience during the fasting, and to control ourselves, from doing anything which is wrong. This is the ultimate goal of the sabr in the fasting. So, but also, the challenge for people would be different because of the age, and also the social status, and for example, the patience which should be exercised by the young people, would be different from the patience which should be exercised by elderly people. Is that right? So, for example, what it is said that, unfortunately, the challenge for the young people in fasting is not only to fast from the food and drink. Is that right? Nowadays, the real fasting is that, if our young generation can fast from the smartphone, can fast, from the social media, okay? The real fasting is that when, you hear the sound of message notification, can you don't look at your phone, that who is texting you message. And, this is very important type of fasting. Can you fast for 1 week from the iPhone? So you have to exercise. And you see that this would be the challenge of fasting. Because as I said, what is the ultimate goal of fasting? To reduce your attachment to this world, to the worldly positions. If you are not capable to reduce your attachment to this dunya, then your fasting is not effective anymore. This is the goal of fasting. That are you, for example, you see that this, social media will produce the sense of consolation to people. Is that right? And this sense of consolation will produce attachment. There is relationship between this consolation and attachment. And if we are not capable to actually reduce our attachment to anything in this dunya, if we don't dedicate our attachment to only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we cannot say La ilaha illallah. You can't say La ilaha illallah when you are having no attachment to anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, we are not saying that, you don't use the blessings and the favors of Allah, the ni'mat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the issue is that, how you can make yourself capable not to be a slave of anything and anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the message of fasting, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us opportunity to, inshallah, elaborate on the concept of taqwa, inshallah rahman, and on the concept of the soul making. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we would have opportunity to increase, inshallah, our patience by fasting during the months of Ramadan, inshallah rahman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad kama sallaita ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala ali Sayyidina Ibrahim innaka hamidun majid. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar inna shani'aka huwal abtar.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا أمير المؤمنين ولي الله أشهد أن عليا أمير المؤمنين حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم
هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين الله أكبر ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب رب وارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الله أكبر رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا الله أكبر سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
सलामती इमाम ज़माना बुलंद तर सलवात।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। या अली व या अज़ीम व या गफूर या रहीम। अंत रब्बुल अज़ीमुल लज़ी लैसा कमिस्लिही शैअन व हुवस समीउल बसीर। व हाज़ा शहरु अज़्ज़मतहु व कररमतहु व शर्रतहु व फ़ज़्ज़लतहु अला शुर। व हुवा शहरुल लज़ी फ़रज़ सियाम अला व हुवा शहरुर रमज़ान लज़ी अंज़लत फ़ीहिल क़ुरआन हुदल लिन्नासि व बय्यिनातिन मिनल हुदा वल फ़ुरक़ान। وجعلت في ليلة القدر وجعلت خير من ألف شهر. في هذا المن والأيمن عليك من على بفكاك رغبتي من النار ويمن تمن عليه وادخلني جنتك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. جزاك الله خير भाई.
اللهم ادخل على أهل القبور السرور. اللهم أغني كل فقير. اللهم اشبع كل جائع. اللهم اكسي كل عريان. اللهم اقضي دين كل مدين. اللهم فرج عن كل مكروه. اللهم رد كل غريب. اللهم فك كل أسير. اللهم أصلح كل فاسد من أمور المسلمين. اللهم اشفي كل مريض. اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك. اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك. اللهم اقض عنا الدين وأغننا من الفقر إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم
الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا أمير المؤمنين ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا أمير المؤمنين حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقول. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. ربنا عليك توكلنا وإليك أنبنا وإليك المصير. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد.
الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آله في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائلا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه وجهك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Please recite a Surah Fatiha for all Marumin and Marmat, especially Ali Hassan Bakri, Najmuddin Tabarsi, our Friday prayer members Jafar Zaidi, Raza Haider, Changiz Zaidi, Shujat Ali, and Ali Muhammad. Please recite a Surah Fatiha. Bismillah. Please recite 5 times of my Jibu for those who are sick, especially Brother Tanvir Khan, Brother Hassan Shah, Brother Naveed Hassan, Muhammad Raza, Sayyid Ali Shamshad Nafi. Follow Maulana.
أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. صلوا على محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم يا رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.